Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. What's up, mi gente? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, on Christmas. I go up on Christmas. You see this? I work no matter what. So instead of y'all out there getting mad, okay, at the results, okay, subscribe to the work ethic along with subscribing to On the Block with Jen. You know who else is on tonight? Right after me, Conversations with King is on, right? Because we don't stop. The party don't stop. But Merry Christmas to those who celebrate. I do not celebrate, okay? And we'll get into that on another show. I don't celebrate, but respectfully, hope you had a Merry Christmas if you do celebrate. So subscribe to On the Block with Jen. Hit the notification bell so you know when I'm on. I don't care who's not in the audience. I'm working tonight. So whenever y'all do show up, y'all gonna see this. And if you saw the thumbnail, it's not gonna be a silent night for me. What's up, Rashawn? Because of you, I discovered I have a super chat now. Woo! Mama has a super chat. My super chat is finally working. So thank you, Rashawn. You are the first. So I have to take a screenshot of that and frame it. You are my first super chat ever. What's up, King? King is already here. This is just the pre-show, okay? King's gone. Clean it up later on his, because we working tonight. On Christmas, we are working. And I got some things to say about the Christians on Christmas. Now, I'm not here to bash Christians, okay? Mama just has some questions. And I have questions that a lot of people have, not just non-believers, right? Because I'm a non-believer. But I think, I like to pride myself in thinking I'm a fair, impartial person. And I've been seeing some Christians doing some non-Christian things, and I'm just trying to understand. And anybody who watches this live is going to try to understand why we see these things, because the math ain't mathing, okay? The math ain't mathing. So what's up, everybody who's already here? AJ, Tristan, you had me dying with them gifts and memes yesterday. That shit was crazy. What's up, April? Good to see you, Mama. What's up, Textual Chatter? So we're going to get into this. This will be an open discussion, so everybody's welcome today. Everybody's welcome to come up. What's up, Darrell? Uncut with Darrell Long. Please follow that brother, because he had to get a new page because of some BS that was going on in the YouTube streets. He had to get a second page. So please follow Uncut with Darrell Long. Do me that favor. Okay, so today's topic is, right, on Christ's birthday. Some people believe that this is Jesus Christ's birthday. Some people don't. I don't know where you stand. That's neither here nor there. I want to speak about Christians. The topic today is, are Christians giving Christians a bad name? Are Christians making Christians look bad, right? Now, I don't know. I've seen some things over a couple years. Thank you, King. Oh my God. See, I'm not going to know how to act now with the super chat, y'all. I'm letting y'all know in advance. I'm not going to know how to act, right? Because I worked for this damn super chat and now it's here. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, Textual Chatter. So I'm like, I'm all gassed now. I ain't going to know how to act, but I'm going to stay focused. I'm gonna give the people what they want, what they asking for. So, as far as the Christians, right? Now, I'm a non-believer, right? So I'm a complete observer. And I didn't just, I wasn't born a non-believer. I went through many religions searching for the who and the why and how we got here, right? I did a little stint with Christianity because some of my family is Christian, some of my family is Catholic. Then I got older and Jehovah's Witnesses were interesting to me. Then I did Bible study with them and I was a Jehovah's Witness for a little while. I went to a Baptist church. I went through different phases. I even studied Scientology for a little while. Yeah, Scientology. I even did that. So I'm pretty much well-versed in not really what people believe per se, but how they believe, right? Like Christians act a certain way, Catholics act a certain way, Baptist, Pentecostal, Scientologists, Catholics. Everybody has their own thing, right? And FYI, if you don't know, there are 4,000 plus religions worldwide, 4,000 plus religions and growing. This is a fact. These aren't rumors. There are 4,000 plus religions and growing. Everybody has their own God, their own beliefs, their own traditions, right? So Christianity is just one. And I'm talking about Christianity today because I live in the United States of America, and the majority of people in the US are Christians, right? Worshipers, lovers of Christ, their Lord and Savior. So, but I want to discuss, are Christians making Christians look bad? Let's talk about the hypocrisy, the divorce rate, the infidelity, the twerking with no drawers on online, and then going up on stage and saying, "Hey, I want to thank Jesus for this Grammy," or "I want to thank Jesus for this Emmy." Right? It gets a little confusing. It gets a little confusing. And then, what is a Christian? Are the old Christians at war with the new Christians, or are we putting too much pressure on Christians? Thank you, April. I appreciate you for the super chat. Thank you, Harrison Family Vlogs. So, what are we looking at here? And is it fair? Are we putting too much pressure on Christians, right? Because the retort is, no one's perfect, darling. No one's perfect. We're all human, right? So then that builds the question, then what's religion for, right? Christianity, Catholic, Baptist, whatever religion you practice, what's it for, right? Is it because it's going to stop you from acting worldly? Is it going to curb you from cursing or cheating, or make you a better worker at your job, make you a better husband, or make you a better mother? Like I said, the math isn't mathing. Now, from the outside looking in, if you are religious and you are in the audience and you want to come up and rebut, or you want to answer some of my questions, right? Because you probably read the Bible much further than I did when I was studying. Maybe you can answer these questions. But these questions, I think, are very, very valid, right? Because if I tell you I'm practicing something, if I tell you, listen, I am a vegan, I don't eat meat, save the animals, right? Kill the people, save the animals, right? And then every time you see me, I'm eating a cheeseburger. Well, not every time. Once a week, you see me eating a cheeseburger. You're like, but you said you were a vegan, and you have every right to question, right? When I'm preaching about being a vegetarian or a vegan, you have every right. It's common sense. It's human. It's human nature. If I tell you I'm a vegan and you see me with a big old bacon cheeseburger in my mouth, you have every right to say, "Oh, Jen, I thought you were a vegan." So in the same vein, and I'm talking about people specifically, right? Let's take Ciara, for instance. Ciara and Russell Wilson, is that his name, Wilson? I don't know anything about sports. But the football player she married, right? They are very, very much Christians. They promote Christianity. Russell even said that he felt God sent him to save Ciara and be with Ciara, and they were promoting, no sex before marriage. Very prayed up couple, adorable couple. I love them together. A lot of people always criticizing. I happen to love them together. I think he saved Ciara from the streets, right? So yay for that guy, right? So when I look at them, I'm like, wow, beautiful story. That's your religion. That's your practice. I totally respect it. Fast forward, when I see Ciara recently, and if you guys go to her Instagram, and I'm sure you will after I say this, she has a very, very provocative, very, very provocateur video on her Instagram, right? Here's where it gets complicated for me with Christianity. She is twerking, and you're thinking twerking, not so bad, whatever. But she is squatting down in the sand on the beach with her legs spread eagle, cocked open, depending on how you speak, with no panties on. And it's very obvious she has no panties on, very scantily clad. The picture I put in the thumbnail, that's Ciara on the beach twerking with her legs spread open with no panties on. Now, as a Christian, I'm wondering, what are you doing, right? Because I'm a non-believer. But if I was a married woman, and I know everybody's not you, Jen, but if I'm a married woman and I'm promoting Christianity, I'm going to want to be looked at a certain way, because now I'm representing a group, right? As a non-believer, I just represent myself. But as a Christian, whether you like it or not, you're representing an entire group worldwide, right? I wouldn't want to be on the beach as a married woman, ring on my finger, legs spread eagle, twerking with no panties on, obviously not wearing panties, with a liquor bottle on my head, okay? Because she had a liquor bottle on her head. So I'm asking, is that Christian-like? Is that a Christian making Christians look bad? I would say yay. If you're a Christian and you're watching and you're like, no, that's not a big deal. We're all human. You know, Christian women can twerk naked. It's okay if they twerk naked on Instagram. Then you correct me. Maybe I'm pressing Christians too much. Maybe I'm expecting too much from them. What is Christianity exactly? Because I would think that women who claim to be Christians, who claim to save themselves, till marriage, I would think that they would behave a different way. Now, do I have you guys, you Christians, pegged the wrong way? Perhaps. Correct me if I'm wrong. And like I said, what's up, Bliss Me? What's up, Cheryl? Like I said, this is an open discussion. If you guys want to come at me about your religion or just what you know about Christianity and I'm wrong, feel free. Cam up. You ain't got to show your faces today. Today's a casual day. I'm well aware it's a holiday. So let's keep going. That's Ciara, right? Let's put her on the list. And again, I'm just saying what I see. Ciara is a grown woman. She can do whatever the hell she likes, okay? I'm just saying what I see as far as Christianity and people that promote Christianity, as far as saying, I didn't even have sex till I got married. That to me is deep. That means that you are devout, right? Because you are following the rule of no sex before marriage. You are devout, right? Kirk Franklin. Yeah, let's go there, right? Kirk Franklin was caught on video. His son recorded him, berating him really, really bad. Really, really bad. I mean, like he was talking to his son like some Negro on a street corner who slapped his mama, like real bad. Like, they was nigga this, nigga that, motherfucker this, and I'll beat your fucking ass, and and again, I'm like, shit, we all get mad. Yeah, I curse like a sailor. I'm from New York, so you already know how I talk, right? In every environment, that's just me. Whether I'm at work with friends or with my family, we do F-bombs and all kinds of stuff, right? But again, I'm a non-believer. So I'm just trying to understand this Christian thing because it's looking real slippery. It's not looking as solid as I think it's supposed to look if you are religious. Again, I visited a lot of different religions in my search for, oh my God, how did we get here? Baptist, Pentecostal, Scientology, Jehovah's Witness, Christian, Catholic. I've been through it all with different members of my family and different friends. I've kind of been there, done that. And I like to observe people and why they believe and, how they pray and things like that. I'm just very curious by nature. But today the subject is, are Christians making Christians look bad? Are Christians bad for Christians? So I spoke about Ciara, not Kirk Franklin, right? Now we all curse, right? But I have never in life and will never, ever address my daughter the way Kirk Franklin addressed his son, right? Now, again, does that make him a bad person? No, that's how he expresses himself. But again, I'm just a little shocked, just a teeny tiny bit. I'm a little shocked that a man who's so prayed up, so devout, making millions and millions of dollars off of Christianity. Because let's face it, Christianity is very, very lucrative. Religion in general is lucrative. Scientology, you have to pay thousands of dollars for those books, not hundreds, thousands of dollars to be a member of, of Scientology. So it's mucho dinero, right? So I'm like, a man who's devout, who claims to be devout, right? Prayed up, gospel, making money hand over fist. Yeah, I'm shocked that he would talk to his son like that, no matter how angry he is. Yeah, I'm shocked. I am. I'm sorry. So I'm wondering, like, Christians, what say you about that type of behavior? Moving on. We have the pastor, John Gray, who's cheated on his wife repeatedly, right? Admitted it. Even said that his wife deserves better than him. So I don't know, people. As far as I know, Jesus and them are supposed to keep you from doing things that can really ruin your life and your livelihood. Jesus is supposed to keep you strong. So if you are devout in Christianity and this is your thing, how is it that you can't even stop from cheating on your wife, but you want to bring people in to this religion and you want to preach this religion? Again, you could do what you want, but you cannot get mad when people are questioning, if you can't even be strong in your religion, why are you preaching it to me? right? And I think that's fair. Again, if I tell you all day, every day, I'm a vegan, I'm a vegan, I'm a vegan, and you see me eating a bacon cheeseburger on Friday, you have every right to say, Jen, you said you were a vegan. What happened? You have every right to question me, right? We got, who is this guy here? I'm sorry, I wrote notes because if I don't write notes, I will forget. We have Megan Good and Devon Franklin. You know, they've been lighting up the timelines. All our timelines are talking about Megan Good and Devon Franklin, Megan Good and Devon Franklin, and Megan Good, Devon Franklin. And you saw my thumbnail, right? What she's wearing, I would think, is a bit risque, right? For the red carpet and for just a woman in general who's married to a minister. Now, I had it wrong. I thought Devon Franklin was a pastor. He's actually a minister, right? He ministers, he goes on book tours, and Megan Good was, accompanying him, things like that. There was a time where Devon Franklin and Megan Good were on stage promoting his ministry, I presume. And a woman from the audience questioned Megan Good's wardrobe on the red carpet and said, can you cover up? Can you cover up and be more modest now that, basically your words have to match your actions? Now, any Christians out there want to argue this or debate it? Come on up or just tell me in the chat. Do you think, as a Christian woman who's promoting Christianity, do you think it's okay for her to be boobs out, no bra, low cut on the red carpet while married to a minister? Now, the minister, Devon Franklin, quickly came to Megan Good's defense and was like, no, you're not going to tell my wife what to wear. My wife can wear whatever she wants. And Megan Good was crying on stage, I guess, because she got emotional, like, oh my God, they're calling me out for wearing what I want on the red carpet, right? But again, I'm saying, right, and it's not the world according to me, it's just what me would do, what I would do. If I'm married to a minister of all things, right? It's the same thing as if I'm married to, a politician. There's just certain ways you have to dress to represent certain people. Let's keep it real, right? Like Ice-T and Coco. Coco dresses like a two-bit hoe, right? Great. But she's married to Ice-T. So you kind of expect that. You're not shocked. You're not like, oh my God, Cardi B is married to Offset. Is that the boy's name? Offset, right? She used to be a stripper, so it makes sense, right? You're like, duh, she used to be a stripper. She's married to a rapper. Hello, right? But when you see the wife of a minister, scantily clad, V all the way down, boobs out, nipples out, I do question it. I do question it. Because then what do I need Christianity for? What does anybody need Christianity for if there are no limits within the religion? And it's not just Christianity. Christianity today, because I'm in America, most Americans are Christians, and a lot of things have been coming out about Christians that are actually quite shocking for Christians. Not shocking for me. If somebody leaks a video of me cursing, motherfucker, you're going to be like, okay, Jen is from New York, duh. But someone who promotes Christianity, and I didn't even have sex until I got married, and I'm married to a minister. When you see them doing and saying certain things, it gives you pause. Yeah. So are Christians making Christians look bad? And do you think that it's all a farce, like BS? Right? Because I view religion in general. Now, this is religion as a whole. I view religion in general as a hobby. I think it's a hobby like any other. Like if you were into comic books, right? You're going to go to Comic-Con. You're going to go to the expos. You're going to buy the comic books. You're going to wear the t-shirts. You're going to go see the movies. You're going to dress up for Halloween, right? It's a hobby. The same thing with Christianity and other religions. If you're a Christian, you're going to wear the Christian clothes, and you're going to read the Bible, and you're going to peddle the Bible, and you're going to go to church, right? And you're going to talk to your friends who are into Christianity about Christianity. So that's why I see it as a hobby. There are many, many hobbies. You got Christian, Catholic, Baptist. And I hope I'm not insulting anybody, because these are just my opinions. You know how I feel when we log off, back to dinner and back to laundry, right? But these are just things that I see that I think will give people pause. And it's quite natural for people to question your religion. So again, what say you, Christians? What are you about? And is it just that Christianity has morphed, and the new Christianity where you can twerk naked on Instagram, right? And then thank Jesus for your Grammy. Maybe that's the new Christian. Is the new Christian looser than the old Christian? Like, is there kind of like a war brewing, or just a difference where it's like, hey, you're talking about the old Christian, Jen. The old Christian used to wear skirts down to the ankles and turtlenecks. The new Christian is twerking on Instagram. Keep up. Am I not keeping up? Is there something wrong with me? The divorce rate affects Christians as well. Men who are cheating affects Christians as well. So it's like, what's the point of Christianity? I don't get it. Are the Christians I'm talking about a subculture of the real Christians? What is going on? What is going on? And yes, I have to ask you this on what some people may deem as Christ's birthday, Christmas, right? Hey guys. So I'm gonna drop the link again. This is a open conversation. If you guys want to come up and battle my wits and tell me, no, Jen, that's not true, it's just a little bit of them. But I think I made perfect sense, okay? I had questions. I'm sure a lot of other people have questions. I'm sure you have Christians in your family where you're like, yeah, okay. I've had Christians judge me who I knew dirt about, but I didn't reveal it. But I was like, okay, sis, but does your husband know X, Y, and Z? You know, in my mind, because I'm not going to blast somebody at a church or blast somebody at the barbecue or blast somebody at Thanksgiving dinner, right? But I've had Christians judge me like, oh my gosh, she's not even a believer. And I'm like, yeah, but what you did to your husband that time, I know about it. We know about it, right? So I have OG Patrice backstage. I love OG. I haven't seen you in a while, mama, but I seen you in the streets. Hello, OG Patrice.
What's good, Jen? How are you?
Good to see you. I know I said a mouthful. I do want to respect the chat and read through the comments a little bit, but I'd love to hear what you have to say, because I'm not bugging, Patrice, right? Give me that much. I'm not bugging.
No, actually, you're not bugging at all. Not at all. I think that this is a conversation that definitely needs to be had, right? I think, and no, like you said, no disrespect to one's religion. I grew up, very religious, Baptist, and things of that nature. I still believe in the creator or a creator, but I definitely stopped practicing, quote unquote, what they're calling the Christianity today. And for reasoning, just self-preservation of discovering for myself what my faith was, or my spirituality was, based off of my heritage and my lineage and things of that nature. So I stopped practicing when I saw a lot of hypocrisy, and it's still a lot of hypocrisy that goes on within Christianity. I'm speaking only for that because that's what I once was. But of course, that applies to other religions as well.
Oh, yes.
I think it is used, in the content when it's convenient for people to use it. I think Christianity is or Christians, people is, it certain things don't apply to them until it apply to them, if you will. Right. So they use it as a pawn on other people that are not of faith or religion. Sometimes they don't walk the walk of that faith, but they talk it a lot. There's a lot of whitewash Christianity, right? And that's another reason why too I choose to stop, practicing quote unquote Christianity, because when I got up on a panel and asked the question of, to these so-called scholars of theologists, majors, or ideology and doctrine, and asked why did the practice of the whitewash Christianity, to me, in my opinion, that's been more of a chokehold on our community. It's sort of like that it's sort of always like that wait on Jesus, pray about it type of mentality. And I asked her, when did we buy into that? And when do we, and the way Christianity is perpetuated. I know some major incidents that has happened, under the Christianity or under the church, that the hypocrisy for me is how the church hides things. Um, they judge you so harshly, but they hide the atrocities that was done. That a lot of pastors, deacons, women in the church, a lot of abuse, things of that nature, and it gets hidden and swept under the rug right until this day. And I think that it is not being addressed properly. People get up on panels that are pastors and reverends and all this, and they give you the song and dance, and really, instead of just genuine, because they can't answer the question that I asked, which was, when did we buy into the theology, of the whitewashed Christianity? And I couldn't get the answer to that question. So yeah, I agree with a lot of things you said. I think that is very hypocritical of a lot of Christians, or how they try to judge other people, but they got major skeletons in their closet. Uh, Things of that nature as well. And also how, they judge it based off of the book with other people, but when it applies to them, it's a different story. So it's just a hypocrisy for me of it all. And so I think that this is definitely a great conversation to have. So I'm gonna be interested in listening to some other perspectives, of other people. But in my opinion, I think that Christianity has basically been more of a chokehold on, especially the Black community. I remember my mother, my grandparents having a picture of the white Jesus and things of that nature. So yeah, so anyway, it's just gonna be interesting to hear the perspective of other people. So I'll just be quiet at this moment until I speak again.
Well, thank you for that. I want to get into the hypocrisy of it. AJ, if you're still here, please come up, because I think your conversation will be interesting. Um, welcome, Mickey. So I want to touch on something you said, Patrice. I think the issue is that it's been, Christianity has been a thing, because like I said, half my family is Christian, the other half is Catholic. It's been a thing where it's like, what turned me off was I couldn't even ask questions. Right? Child, you're naturally curious, right? So I was like, but I don't get it. So he killed his son because we're born in sin, but I thought you're born innocent. A newborn baby is born innocent. How are you born innocent? Like, you're damning the child before the child even takes his first steps. And I would get a lot of backlash, like, don't you question God. And I'm like, I just want to know what I believe in. Help me out, somebody. So that's one of the things that turned me off to it. I'm like, I can't. Why are we just believing, like, who told you? Well, my mother. Well, who told you? Her mother. Well, who told you? Her mother's mother. And I'm like, yeah, I need more than that, Mom. I'm need more than that. So
Yeah.
welcome, Bliss Me and Mickey Red. Bliss Me, you've been patiently waiting. What do you have to add?
Hi, Jen. Thanks for having me. Really fast. I used to be heavily into Christianity, so I do have a natural respect for like the Bible and a lot of the principles that you can learn from it. But I have to agree with you and disagree. Okay, because sometimes I feel like non-believers expect believers to be like angels, like you know what I mean, like. And there's no room for the fact that they are spiritual, but they're human too. So the flesh side is going to be a constant battle with the flesh. They're going to do fleshly things like that. That's going to happen. But I do agree with you. I think as far as like you said, you couldn't ask any questions. I think that like people kind of muddied up the situation and started putting their own things into it. Um, by telling you like, oh, you can't. Like somebody told me they were having money problems, and I was like, oh, you should pray and they were like, "You're not supposed to ask God for money." So like people start adding their own, and I was like, I prayed and it worked for me. Not, but again, I didn't pray and not do anything. It was prayer and it was work. So I'm like, well, yeah, I think prayer can help. And she's like, no, that's a sin. But she's a non-believer. You're not supposed to ask God for money. So I think sometimes non-believers don't have a lot of like the facts. But I think, to be honest, the reason I'm kind of turned off, I did a lot of research. I learned about the reason this Bible was actually written, who actually wrote it, who the Jesus was supposed to be, and who the actual image is. And as I learned about these different things, I kind of now I'm in this weird place where like I do believe in God, but I can't necessarily subscribe to this either. So it's a weird thing, but I do think that Christians get a little bit too much pressure to be perfect. I'll say that. Like I don't think that because you are a believer in Christ, because to be a Christian just means that you believe in Christ. So I don't think that just because you are a believer in Christ that you should be held to like this standard where if you shake your ass or something, you're just like hard. You're not a good Christian. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I gotcha. And that's fair. That's fair, right? I think where that's totally fair. Like it's like, oh, just because you're a Christian, you should be perfect. I think where the water gets muddy is the judging that Christians do. So it's easy to clap back and be like, yeah, but what about what you did with such and such? You know what I mean? So I think that's what it is. But I think there is pressure put on Christians. That's why I asked that question as well. Like, are we putting too much pressure on Christians to not be perfect, but at least practice what they preach? Give me that, because I don't need perfection. I just need to see you practicing what you preach. Like if I say I'm a vegan, I should not be eating a cheeseburger, right? I eat
I
a
gotta,
pig. Well, then,
Jen, Jen, I gotta agree with you 100% because I have a family member who's very close to me right now, and we don't speak because of his Christianity, because of exactly what you said. He's very judgmental, and when he gets upset, he gets very nasty, and it just made me kind of lose respect because I always looked at him like this super Christian, stand up, married, family man, and it's like, damn, when you get upset, you sound worse than me. And
right.
you say some really mean, hurtful things, and you're very, very judgmental. You're not wrong about that. I experienced that in my own family.
Right. That's why I was shocked to hear Kirk Franklin. I was like, whoa. I was like, wait, I don't even talk like that. And I'm from the Bronx. I was like, what is going on? So you're right. Again, a lot of things surprise me. We have King in the building. I got a question for you about a Christian specifically that you had some run-ins with, that and it's going to be a great segue for your after show. We have Mickey, and Mickey's been patient. So before I ask you that question, King, I'd love to hear what you have to say, Mickey. We also have the matriarch on board. Hello, hello, lady.
Peace and light, sis. How are you?
I'm really good. Good to see you. So, Mickey, what do you have to add to this?
I agree with Bliss Me. And OG. I think a lot of the reasons why Christians rub people the wrong way is because a lot of people carry this holier than now attitude and they like to beat people with the scriptures. And that's not how we're supposed to do. Of course, we're human, and so we're going to make mistakes, but we are called to walk a certain path and treat people a certain way and carry ourselves in a certain way. Does that mean we're always going to hit the mark? No, but we can try every day, every minute, every hour. Now, as far as like ministers and people that are actually Levites in the church, they are actually held at a higher standard because they are leading a flock, so to speak. But as Christians, we need to give grace, just like the grace that we received, and we need to stop being so judgmental. Always trying to. There's another way that you can evangelize people without condemning them, convicting them, because we're not perfect. And there are a lot of questions about the Bible, about religion. And if you can't answer those for someone, it makes their journey harder. And so some Christians, instead of saying, I don't know the answer, they'll tell you, you're not supposed to ask that question. And, as far as, if you're a Christian, you have to go to the right church. You have to be under the right leadership. You can't just go to a hooping and hollering minister. You have to go to a preacher that teaches you the Bible so that you can actually apply the Bible to your life. Now, are you going to be perfect at that? No. That's why we in the church, we walk this life out together. And since COVID, I have felt like such a heathen because I haven't been to church since COVID. And before COVID, I had stopped cussing. But right now, someone left the gate open and that old woman be creeping up in here. You hear me? But I understand why people are turned off by Christians. I understand and I get it. And that's something that we need to work on because church hurt is real.
Right. What is church hurt? I've heard that phrase before.
It's like when you go to church and some of the mothers in the church or some of the people in the church are rude to you, mean to you, convict you, do stuff that is not Christian-like because you're supposed to open your arms to everybody. You're supposed to be love in action. That's what we're supposed to be walking in, love. But sometimes when you go to church, you find some of the nastiest people, which is a turnoff. It's a turnoff. How am I supposed to love a God that is agape, and you're here at this church, but you're being real ugly to me? And then some churches, I don't go to that kind of church, but some people do go to churches where the minister is, getting all the money and, it's a whole lot of shenanigans. You got to remove yourself out of those situations. But some people stay in that, or they stay at the church that they grew up in and they're not being fed instead of branching out and going somewhere else or figuring out. It all starts with self-discovery. If you're not unsure about religion, whether you don't like it, at least you made a decision and you went on your own self-discovery to find out what the facts are and what they're not. And once you do that, hey.
Right. So let me ask you something, Mickey, because I agree. This is not about, in any way, shape, or form, myself, or I hope anybody else is expecting a Christian to be perfect, right? Because no one's perfect. The problem with no one's perfect is sometimes it's used as an excuse, right? It's like, well, I messed up, and
that part.
Throw it at you with, hey, nobody's perfect. And then it's like, oh, well, that's the past. Well, shit, I'm not perfect either. So, hey, great. So what do you say when, you said, for ministers and pastors, they are leading a flock, right? So what do you say about when they mess up, right? Because everybody makes mistakes, right? But when I look at somebody like Ciara, right? You can make a mistake. We have fleshly desires, so they say, right? And sometimes we just, we fall into them. But when I look at something simple, like just, girl, like cover up your boobs, that's not hard to do. Or when I see Ciara twerking on Instagram with no panties on, I'm like, that's easy to not do. So what do you say about people like that? Like, I don't even think no one's perfect applies to them, because you made a conscious decision to take your panties off. You made a conscious decision to bend over. You made a conscious decision to twerk, have it recorded. Then you looked at it like we all look at our videos before we upload. So what do you say about when someone's carrying on like that, but then they're preaching Christianity and thanking Jesus on stage for the Grammy and saying, I didn't have sex with my husband before marriage because of Jesus? What do you say about things like that when it's obviously not a mistake, it's a decision?
That's her decision. She's gonna have to be held accountable for that. We all have to be held accountable for everything that we do, whether we think it's right or wrong, for everything we say, for everything we think. And I think saying, oh, I'm a humanist, I made a mistake. Yeah, you can say you made a mistake, but I make a mistake. If I say something offensive to you, Jen, I'm not going to say, oh, I'm a human, I made a mistake. I'm going to say, Jen, I'm sorry. Can you forgive me? I'm going to be sincere. I'm going to be a upstanding person in that situation. That's what I'm supposed to be. But if I play it off and make an excuse like, oh, I'm human, it's no big nah, man. Everybody makes mistakes, but you have to be accountable for your mistakes. Even when you get passionate, like I was on another panel and I misspoke, but I didn't. I was in my sensitivity, in my passion, I was very insensitive of how I came off and what I said. and I misspoke in that passion, which could have turned people away, which was not my intention. But I can't come back and be like, well, I'm a human, that's a mistake. No, I have to say, King, when I was on your panel in my passion, I was very rude and insensitive, and I apologize for that.
Well, you can add me to that club.
Jen, I was on your panel.
I don't got no problems with Mickey because I speak to you offline, and you're very gentle and kind. So I don't got any problems with you at all, and you deal with the issues you have. And at the end of the day, I don't have an issue with Christians that understand that they're human. I have an issue with Christians that put this they believe that they're better than others when we all are humans, right? And that's why we hold Christians to a higher standard, because if you're going to say that you're better than us, now you got to show that, right? So I don't. And my parents, I was raised in Christianity, so I have no issue with Christians. I learned the history of the world through the Bible, right? Through the stories, the parables. I learned a lot about this culture. I learned a lot about this personalities. Most of these stories are similar. If you talk about the three biggest holy scriptures, whether it be the Quran, whether it be the Bible or the Torah, the stories are the same, right? You say Abraham, some people say Ibrahim. It's the same person. So I don't have any issues with anybody in the Christianity. I just have an issue with the Christians that make me feel bad because I'm not a Christian, right? And to win me over is to win me over through like soft tongue. And you're not gonna make me feel guilty, but win me over by I'm watching you and you show me that, you know what, it's cool to be a Christian, it's cool to be mellow, it's cool to be cool. That's what I'm on. I'm on that type of time. But I got issues with other Christians that I'm going to address, so I just want everybody to get their turn, because when I speak, I'm when I come off, when I'm quiet and calm, then it's dead serious. Thank you.
Yeah, because you quiet stormed the night. You see how King came in? He gave us the base. He was like, yeah. So I was saying, okay, I see you, King. I love the questions in the chat. Someone said, where is the husband in all of this? And I think that is referring to Ciara's husband and Megan Good's husband. Where is the husband in all of this? Obviously, the husband is okaying, the behavior, apparently, right? Because I think the husband would have something to say about it, but the husband is like, hey, do you, like the way Devon Franklin said. Also, I want to read the Glow Code. Hey, Glow Code said, no one is perfect. But if you are a believer, people should be able to see progress. We are supposed to be in the process of being perfected, meaning made complete. I want the matriarch to say something, because I want to ask you about a specific Christian that you're going to address later on your show, King. But I want the matriarch to please, matriarch, what do you have to say about this subject?
I really came to support Darrell in this, Jen. So first of all, thank you to everybody for and Jen for having me here on the panel. I hope your spirit is well. We get caught up a lot of times in the stories in the book, the words in the book, and not the actual spirit of the book or our spirit ourselves. What I can say is I personally feel a bit of a hypocrite sitting here in this moment because for a host of reasons, I'm not comfortable with a couple of people on the panel. I've been more than vocal about that. But I asked Darrell if he would like my support. And so I'm here for him. And I just wanted to make that clear because I don't want anyone to misconstrue anything that's being said. But when you support someone, it comes down to your character, no matter who you are, right? Doesn't matter what doctrine you claim. It's about character. It's about the person that you claim to be. If you say that I am someone who believes in this doctrine, and that's what I live by, then you need to stand 10 toes down on that doctrine. And unfortunately, we're not seeing um, that behavior in people across the religious spectrum, whether they be Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Baptist, whatever you want to call them, spiritualists. We're also not seeing it from generations giving each other the level of respect for who they are and what they're about. Right. So it's a host of things.
Okay, so I think you opened up Pandora's box. A couple of people in the chat, and I'm sure on the panel, want to know. You said you feel like a hypocrite on the panel because there's a couple of people, I guess, that don't rub you the right way. Do you want to say who those people are and why you overlooked that to be on the panel?
I'll address it. This is not a hit situation or anything like that. I've been very clear about these things before. I've seen you a few times on more than one platform and did not care for your demeanor. And so I chose not to go down the rabbit hole to figure out who you were as a content creator and just left it at that. Right. So to be here now, even when you came in my chat, I acknowledged your presence, but I didn't. I asked you if you wanted to come up. You said you were going to go back. And so I understand that. Right. But me having said those things, it would be kind of weird to people for me to just be sitting up here like everything is super kosher. Um, Everyone already knows that there's been a back and forth situation between King and I. I am done with the situation, but I'm also done with the gentleman. I've already said what it would take for me to be willing to move in accordance with him again. I want every Black person to win, though, so I'm not going to stop him from getting his hustle. So I'm not going to speak more on it than that. But I do want it to be clear that my character says I'm going to stand on who I am. I'm here to support Darrell, but I'm willing to address the questions that you put forth in the meantime.
Okay. Well, thank you for being on the panel. I think you're a hypocrite, so it's great that you acknowledge that because I do think you're a hypocrite. So I'm perfectly okay with that. I don't think Darrell needs support on this panel because everyone here rocks with him and supports him thoroughly, regardless of when we haven't agreed with him, we still supported him. So if you feel uncomfortable on the panel because you have an issue with I or with King, you're free to go. I mean, unless Darrell really, really needs you here.
I certainly understand that. And as soon as Darrell tells me that he would like for me to not be here or doesn't want my support, I'm willing to do so. Or you can go ahead and drop me out.
Darrell, are you okay being without her right now? Because I don't want. I mean, if she's, I'm big on like I respect what you're saying, and I'm glad that you acknowledge that you're a hypocrite because it is hypocrisy.
Pause. That's not what I said. I
You
said that
said you
people might think
feel.
that I'm a hypocrite. I said that I feel that people may believe I'm a hypocrite. So let me say why I'm here.
Oh, okay. Well, for the record, that's hypocrisy defined what you're doing because I wouldn't.
I'm supporting hypocrisy defined would be you telling Christians to stand on a doctrine, but then to hit me for standing on a doctrine. I see. So, Darrell,
No, I didn't tell them
would you
stand
like
on
to speak for
doctrine. No,
yourself?
no, I didn't tell Christians to stand on doctrine. I never said that. I said that there are questions that are fair to ask Christians, right? If they preach a certain doctrine. Say, for instance, if I keep telling you I'm vegan and you see me eating a bacon cheeseburger, then you're right to ask me, Jen, I thought you were a vegan. So when a Christian is preaching a certain thing, it's within everybody's right to say, hey, you told me you're a Christian and Christians believe X, Y, and Z. But what you're doing right now is hypocrisy defined because there are not one but two people on the panel that rub you the wrong way. And you chose to come up anyway with the excuse that you're supporting Darrell, who's a full grown man and who's supported very much on my panel all the time.
I'm still waiting for you to allow the gentleman to speak, though.
No, but you're on my panel, so I wanted to address
right.
you. Darrell can speak. Absolutely.
Got that. So, Darrell, that's all we need, and then I can go or stay.
Darrell, do you need her here? Because now I don't want her here, but I want you comfortable.
First of all, I love you both. And if you don't want her here, the reason why I asked JP to come was because me and JP did a show earlier where I actually brought up the video that happened with me tonight, where everything happened, all of the domestic abuse and what led to me having full custody of my daughter. she was like, I talked to a lot of different people. King supported me on it. JP put it on her show, and a few other different people is planning on talking about it. I talked to you about it, a few other different people about it, and y'all all supported me. But that's the reason why I brought JP up
And if you were the people
specifically.
is, planning on talking about it, I talked to you about it.
Wait to brother, yeah.
Maybe
I brought her up specifically for that, but if I want to stay focused on the topic. You get what I'm saying? If you don't want her here, Jen, then JP understand the situation. I'm pretty sure she'll still support me. That's not an issue. You know what I'm saying? Do I need her to be here? Not necessarily. I'm pretty sure that if I ask her to say whatever in the chat, she'll say it. And her video is up, now. But I brought her up because, when everything happened, you know, I get real fed up. This is why I always align myself with the street niggas, because I get tired of all the political people, right? Be Christians. Fathers matter. Black women matter. So my situation represents both: a black father, a single father, and protect black daughters, and my 1-year-old daughter, right? But that situation is never talked about. That situation, that's what I'm here to talk about. You get what I'm saying? I understand JP had situations with you, and that's not really with you. I understand that she has some disregard about King, which really is about that's also about what kind of it tie in to what we was talking about, because JP only really wanted E Black gone from like the third episode because she saw this coming, right? She saw this coming, and that's why I stood 10 toes down with her, and I still love King. And King knows that. We already talked about that. This is old news, right? It's not even really beef or a squabble. This is something that was just happened in house that we handle. But at the end of the day, I got tired of hearing Christians running around saying, "Oh, we need God to fix our neighborhoods, and we need the black man to take care of this, this, and that." But I'm literally a representation of that. But people come in, they support the bullshit. They support the fake Christians. They support the fake message. I'm the kind of person that I like to just run shit over, bury it, go ahead and get it over with. I don't like weakness, and what I saw tonight, bringing up King, this wasn't the first time on the ethical leadership. King this, King this, King this, King that. You know what I'm saying? Not really talking about you, but bringing up, we got people who not even black talking about black issues. I I'm always in a situation, even right now. I just put my daughter to sleep so we can have this conversation, right? But nobody would talk about that. Nobody talk about that. They would say stuff like Daryl's channel is about Anton, despite me having my highest 3 videos is about LeBron James and Larry Bird, which is a fact. I got proof of that to this day, right? I get real like I don't know, man. Listen, JP can leave or stay. JP, that's up to you. I'm not going, if you want to stay, you can want to leave. Well, specifically, this is Jen house, so it's really
Yeah,
up to her.
definitely not up to her. It's not up to
Yes,
her.
I'm sorry. I had to excuse myself.
Okay.
I had to excuse myself. It's up to you. But what I wanted to talk about, is the conversation that we came here to talk about is listen, how can we come through as a race and be strong when most of our black people are quote unquote Christians? And let's be honest, most of them behave like this. It's not just E Black. A lot of them behave like this. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not here to like go at nobody race, but nobody religion, but I'm just gonna speak on it. Y'all have continuously failed young black men. Continuously failed young black men. You get what I'm saying? I would love to see people like Shannon, who's in the comments. He laughing. Shannon, I haven't you doing Monahan reports and shit, getting 20 views. Can you go in like and do some real shit? Can you talk about like real shit? I got real shit going on, mental health shit. What are you doing in LA? What are you doing in your community? And Cam up too, so we can really talk about it. I don't want to talk to you through the comments. You know what I'm saying? Because again, these are people who look, Jen, I've been in this space for almost like a year and a half now, right? And I don't know what I can say on your channel, but I'm just gonna speak freely. And when I cross the line, please interject. But a lot of these people who come on your channel, that come from Anton channel just dick suckers. Shannon, one of them. Cam up, Shannon. Listen, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it, bro. Rilla did the same thing. Anton did the same thing. I asked you, Jen, how many times did Rilla come in and support you? You said none. Just the time with King addressing Chef and all the rest of this shit. Y'all coming in being messy.
That was his only time. Shannon, do you want to cam up? Or what are you saying in the chat? Because I'm not reading the chat.
He's not really saying nothing specifically, but I'm just tired of all the passive shit. If you're a real leader, step the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to address me, if you're going to have my name in your mouth, if you're going to come here on some goofy shit, make sure you're going around and say, oh, yeah. And he's a great father, too. And he take care of his kid, too. Oh, yeah. He beat multiple cases against him. That's why his daughter is with him now. Otherwise, I'm going to go at all of y'all. Period. So it is what it is. Let's keep the conversation going.
Yeah. So I just want to say this really quickly about JP. That's her name, right? JP, the matriarch.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I want to say this really quickly so we can continue with the conversation respectfully. I noticed that, and I spoke about this before. I noticed that there's a habit in the YouTube streets where the frenemy thing happens, or people hang around for the clout or the subs or the exposure, whatever would have you, right? I've never done that. I can't respect anyone who does that. I think the excuse was cute. I'm here to support Darrell. Darrell is a grown-ass man. He is not a child. Whatever he asked her to be here, great. But I'm not for the BS. If I don't like you, you are going to be the first to know, and I'm not going to cam up anywhere near you. We're not going to hang out. We're not going to share drinks. We're not doing business. If I don't like you to the point where I said everywhere I saw you, like she said about me, because I don't think about her. I've seen her different places. I don't necessarily like what she has to say. I think she's a huge hypocrite, but she feels like because she's a very much older person, she has all the answers, the matriarch. And I'm like, it takes more than age to me for me to respect you. But my thing is simple. You said you don't like two people on the panel. You cammed up anyway. It's not only hypocrisy, it's stupidity, in my opinion. Like she said, I was in her chat only because she used my show as a thumbnail for her show. That's the only reason I was in her chat. That's the part that she left out. Otherwise, I don't go to that woman's page. I don't care for her. I don't bother with her. That's why I would never be on her panel. So for her to come here and play the matriarch and cam up and then say she doesn't get along with two people on the panel and then try to hide from being a hypocrite. No, you're a hypocrite, mama. That's what that means. That's hypocrisy defined. So, it's all love otherwise. But I'm like, you're not going to be on my panel and play this you don't like me shit. Are you crazy? Anyway, moving on, back to the hypocrisy of Christianity, not the hypocrisy of JP the matriarch. Let's stay on topic. And Shannon did cam up. A couple of people in the chat were confused about what you were saying. And I think this is a good segue for King's show right after mine. You were talking about E Black, right, Darrell?
I was.
Okay. And the reason why I think E Black is a great subject matter for this is because E Black is someone, I don't know E Black very well. I know him from conversations with King, but I do notice that he also, going back to the topic, plays the Christian card a lot, right? And then I saw him again, like the topic, I saw him behave in a way that was very, very nasty. Now, maybe I think too much of Christians. I don't know. Maybe I do. But when I think of Christians, I think they're not going to behave a certain type of way. And again, right, we all allowed to be emotional. We're all allowed to be pissed off. We're all allowed that. I'm not saying that, oh, you're a Christian, you should never get mad or curse or whatever. But when you are vitriolic, manipulative, and malicious, right, yeah, I'm going to question your Christianity. Right. Because what you say in the heat of a moment is one thing. But actually being malicious after the fact, after you had time to calm down, yeah, I'm going to look at you like you're just playing the Christian card. That way it's an excuse when someone calls you on it. You can be the biggest asshole you can be, but hey, I'm a Christian, right? So it's kind of like they use it as a shield or armor, right? Where it's like, I think the biggest asshole, like husbands cheat. Hey, but I'm not perfect. Only God can judge me. No, I'm right here and I'm judging you right now, buddy. I'm judging you right now, right? So going back to that, because a couple of people were confused in the comments, that's what you were talking about. You were talking about E Black's hypocritical Christianity. And you did call for Shannon, and Shannon is here. But I want to be fair. If there's anybody on the panel that wants to say something before the gentleman I just pulled up, please raise your hand because I don't want to skip you. Is there anyone who's been here that wants to say anything, whether it's Love, Crossing Borders, Mickey, Bliss Me, OG, King? Does anybody want to say anything before I go to the gentleman I just pulled up?
I do want to say something. I just want to say it's not a bash, from my perspective on Christianity, but I am noticing, and this is even prior to me even coming in these YouTube streets, I just notice a pattern of, and I say specifically Christians because that's mostly who I'm around. And then now discovering it even in these YouTube streets, that's, that same philosophy, is being used, Christianity, to make excuses for the things that you do and the things that you say, and how you find it convenient to judge it with others, but then when it applies to you, it's a different story. So I'm seeing that outside of these YouTube streets and in these YouTube streets. So I want to be clear about that. And I think that the same way that judgment is on others from people of the Christian faith, it needs to be right back on you. So that's my perspective of where I'm coming from with it. I just want to be clear about that.
Okay, thank you, Patrice. Love, you can add to the conversation before I add Shannon, because I think Shannon's going to be a whole other conversation. What's up, Shannon? We can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? All right, Jen. First of all, I want to say
Welcome.
thank you for the platform that you've presented this evening, and a great topic. It needs to be addressed. I'm part of Travelers. I've lived in several countries, and I live currently in Cali, Colombia right now. I'm currently married and happily. One of the things that I've learned about Christianity from a global perspective, two things that we in the United States, we often speak of Christianity, forgetting that it's a global experience, and we only talk about it quite often back home in the States. I was raised in the church like everybody else, but we only talk about it from the perspective of our U.S. experience. What I mean by that, statistically, most people don't know over 80% of all pastors in the world live in the United States, where over 80% of all believers, whether it be Catholic or traditional Christians, Protestants, live outside of the United States. You will find some of the most humblest, nicest individuals that would take their last piece of bread and share it with you and show that true Christianity, but sometimes it's not in our own home country. So like in the words of St. Francis, when he said, preach the gospel at all times, but when necessary, use words. So a lot of places around the world I've seen, they walk their Christian walk. And we all, no matter where you go, people make mistakes and have moments. But I found that people have more of emotional intelligence, have a more spiritual foundation, because they value that in their country, they can't just go to Walmart and buy a Bible and that's it. The Bible that they have been passed down for 4 or 5 generations. So it's valued. Each word is valued. And the behavior patterns are valued. In other countries, quite often. Now, do other countries have wars like we do, and divorce and disappointment and things like that? Yes. For example, here but it's not as bad. For example, here in Colombia, divorce rate is only 9%. So when people get married, they mainly stay married because it's all about the family. So don't make the mistake, guys, when we talk about Christianity, don't forget about the other 80% of Christians that exist around the world that are still trying their best to humbly, like Jen said earlier, or someone mentioned, to live a progressive life, or showing a form of progress that needs to take place. Lastly, before I let you all go, and once again, this is a great format, great form, and I'm going to subscribe to all you guys' channels if you have channels. I've been in YouTube for 4 years. We have over 5 channels. As you can tell behind me, we already hit 100,000 on a couple of channels already. We started our 4th one again. We're already 6-figure brand. My point in saying all this is there are a lot of times you're going to find yourself, while your smaller channels, working on panels and with groups of people you may not agree with, like politicians do. But for the bigger scope and the bigger plan, one of the things that has caused me to unsubscribe over the last few months to several Afro-American platforms, sadly to say, is because they step off topic and they bicker among themselves about things that should be talked about behind the scenes. There are major YouTubers that we've all succeeded together, but you wouldn't know behind the scenes that we really don't get along. So my advice to growing channels, especially there's very few of us that are really taking off as Black channels, any bickering that you have to have that behind the scenes, or don't have it at all. Because I've done that. Just don't talk about it. But in front of the camera, in front of the audience and the followers and the people that are trying to learn from people like us, please, I promise you, it will profit you to treat your YouTube channel as a business and a brand. Because at the end of the day, that's what our white brothers and sisters are doing. And I'm here in Latin America. And our Latin brothers and sisters are coming up fast because we're too busy bickering and not sticking to the topic. This whole show should have been about what Jen brought to the forefront, and anything else that could have been brought forth should have been brought forth behind the scenes. So try to get in the habit of doing that. And I promise you guys, you'll see each other's channels prosper and grow greatly. Thank you very much, Jen, for letting me speak and say what needs to be said.
Absolutely. I also want to, I agree with you. Okay. 100%. Like, I don't, I'm not the biggest fan of that woman, but I'm like, I would never say it's to the point where
Right,
it's like,
I caught that.
It's like, it's not that serious for me, but apparently it was that serious for her, and that's fine. I want to,
not to cut you off, Jen. The first time, I'll give you an example of what I mean by what I was saying. The first time I saw you, Jen, was on another channel, and I didn't agree with how you said something or how you presented it. But guess what? I subscribed and I began to follow you to hear what else you had to say on other topics. And then I was like, you know what? I might not agree how she presented it at that moment, but by following her all the way through, now I understand her perspective and where she's coming from and how she presents it. And so I respect that. So, and that's what I meant by a lot of times we just take snippets of a moment of dealing with each other and we exploded. And then now I don't deal with you. You don't deal with me. We can't do that and succeed as African-American YouTubers. The algorithm is already against us as it is. So we don't need to be attacking each other. And if we do, keep that behind the scenes. Your audience should never see that.
Yeah. Again, I agree with you. And also I always take into account, because I know what sets me off and pisses me off. I take into account also, it's context, it's situation, it's who is the person communicating with, right? So there are certain people that have certain reputations in the YouTube street. So I know if someone's getting in there with somebody, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, that's that type of environment, or that's what would happen there. So I agree with you, and thank you for the self, regardless of whether or not you agreed with how I handled things on the other channel. I want to go back to
that was just a snippet, but at least I was wise enough to say, let me give this woman a fair chance and hear what she has to say overall across the scale of her channel, and not judge her because I saw 3 minutes or something I didn't agree with, and I didn't even see the beginning of the video, so I don't even know what the topic is. That wouldn't be fair to you. But I got a fair assessment from watching your content myself and not taking a snippet and judging you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So going back to the topic, I want to give a little pushback. It's not really my pushback, but I agree with this pushback. Super Sly 75 says, you're moving the goalposts. We're dealing with American experiences. So I think basically what's going on with the Christians all over the world is not really relevant to the Christians here. So I want to ask you, love crossing borders, why do you think the Christianity here seems to be so corrupt and muddied and backwards and just not right? Like where you see other Christians. What do you think it is about America?
Because we've taken family out of Christianity, which was the whole thing was founded. Think of Abraham and Sarah, the whole thing, David and his wife, Mary and Joseph. It's always been based on family coming together, unifying as a unit, cultures coming together. But in the United States, the male has been somewhat pushed out of Christianity because of various reasons. So now you don't have as many males going to church. So now the family dynamic's not there, except for, you know, the single moms that are there, or the single dads. Also, the fact, as I mentioned before, America doesn't even rank in the top 20 countries for emotional intelligence. We're a direct, harsh, to the point, blah, blah, blah. Like you said, I'm from New York. I say it like I'm from Detroit. We talk like that too. And or Chicago or LA, the Atlantas. So in the United States, but certain behavior patterns in many countries, I find it's not the norm. You go to the
Yeah,
Philippines, we
we
don't
got to
talk to
blend
each
the
other like
lessons
that. You
from
come
this
to
movie for
Colombia,
that. You know what I mean?
everything it's two things that rank in Colombia: God and family. And I'm talking about, you going to question who's number one many days, because everything is family. I'm talking about the taxi driver is family. The person that works at the McDonald's, you treat them with the utmost respect that you would treat a congressman. We've had the governor, I mean the mayor of the largest city here, which is the 16th largest city in the world, apologized to a homeless man because of how police treated him, and just didn't hurt him, but just how they spoke to him. But at the end of the day, in the United States, we have taken the family part out, and we have taken out the emotional intelligence part. And the sad part is, I know God prospers us, but we have just been coming just full force like bulls when it comes to the prosperity gospel, and we don't talk about anything else. We could turn on from one minister to another minister that's talking about the prosperity, where in other countries the prosperity is based on how successful your children are, how well you take care of grandma. It's kind of funny I say this, and I don't want to sound like I'm babbling. I say, if you want to see the most beautiful women in South America, just look for two things: a little child or older person, and that's who'll be on their arm. It will amaze you how many women that are eights, nines, tens are walking arm in arm with their grandmom and granddad, or with a child. The most beautiful women. It's amazing how in you can go to Thailand, or you can go to certain areas in the tropics, that it's nothing to see a father dancing with their son, with the daughter, and the son dancing with the mother. It's all about the family unit. So when they go to church and they hear these stories about a Sarah and an Abraham family, a Mary and a Joseph family, their dynamics still exist. When we go to church, it has become more and more foreign to talk about a book and a God that's talking about family, but we don't walk in that mainly anymore in the States as much as we should.
So
Okay,
basically,
can I say something, Jen?
yeah, I just wanted to say, so basically the US can learn from Christians outside of this country. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and just by the funny part is the only by the watching part. Like you were saying, walk in it. Like you said, if you're a vegan and you're supposed to be eating, not to cut you off, brother, if you're a vegan and you're supposed to be eating vegetables, like I'm a vegetarian, what are you doing with a cheeseburger, Andre? So I understand from that. So just the watching part is just blowing me away. So when they go to church, I'm like, it's mom, dad, kids, cousins, brothers. They do that at
Yeah,
the
but you're
airport.
looking at it
I
from
have
a
never
cultural
seen
perspective,
in
though.
the United States,
Okay, King.
and
All
that's
right.
what I
So
meant.
let King jump in for a minute.
Go ahead, brother.
King, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hold on. Did you get that the thing I put?
What thing?
I just posted it right now. Did you see it? Did everybody in the panel see it? And brother, love crossing boards. I don't want to start trouble with you. I want to say thank you for having high level conversations. Now I get to be Columbia University king, and I want to let you and bring some topics to you because I think it's very disingenuous of what you're promoting. Not disingenuous for promoting your religion because you have to promote your religion because it makes you a better man and it makes you a better pillar for your community and particularly your adopted community in Cali, Colombia. As a man that's worldly as myself, I have traveled to many places, and I was very
Hmm.
fortunate to go to Colombia. I put the word up there. Jen, can you put that word up? Because you're dealing with a thing. You're making statements, and I don't know if the audience knows this, but they're because their correlation doesn't lead to causation. You're saying because there's a strong Christian population there are a lot of marriages. There's other
I didn't say
variables.
that. I didn't make that
No,
statement,
no,
brother.
I didn't say
Brother,
you
I
said
didn't
that,
make that statement at all.
I'm sorry. I didn't. Let me. Would you mind rebutting after I finish, please?
Okay, cool.
You implied, and those who are listening can assume or could say that you said you didn't say there's marriages in Colombia last longer because they value it because of the Christian religion, right? Can we say that or no? So
Didn't
what
say
did you
that.
say? What did you
I
say?
actually said 6% of no, I said 9% of Colombia's actually divorced, and the
Right.
reason why is because of their beliefs. But I didn't say it was the Christian beliefs. Many of them are Catholic, many of them are of different beliefs. But the reason why is because just like in the States, you'll have a lot of Catholics that stay together, but they may be separate. So I didn't say it in the sense of, or sell it in the sense of, because of their Christianity, that's why they stay together. That's not absolute. That's absolutely
Okay.
not true
So with that
at
being
all.
said,
And actually,
with that being said, right? You still paint a picture that because there's less divorce rates in Colombia in comparison to the United States of America is a better place in regards to family because they believe in the family, the core structure, the unit of the family. There's something called femicide, and it's been ever growing in Colombia. Do you know what that is, sir?
actually, I don't. So I'll
Okay.
let you explain it to me.
Yeah. Do you know femicide? We could just break down the word, right? The killing of women from domestic violence is at an all-time high in Colombia. So these women are married, less divorced, because they're scared to death. Can we assume that? I want to ask you.
No, that's
Why?
not
No,
necessarily true.
hold
Now you're taking.
on. I don't want to. I'm not trying
Finish.
to argue back and forth because we just said to me, you just said that we having an educated conversation. The first thing I said is thank you for having a high level
That's why I said
conversation.
finish your point.
Yeah, thank you, brother. So we have to talk about the issues and stop pinpointing the lack of Americans because Colombia got issues too. You can look at any article.
And I made that statement.
Brother, I'm sorry. I apologize. I won't talk. I'll wait till you finish because I did not disturb you. I kept quiet.
Absolutely correct. Now, let's stick to the topic at hand. See,
I'm trying to. I was trying to get there.
Let's not move the goalposts. Let's stick to the topic at hand. Let me let you go ahead.
What's the population of Christians in Colombia?
I'm not sitting in front of my computer to be able to pull up the
statistics. Well, I can look it up.
Let's stick to the point. The topic.
I'm trying to get there, brother. I'm trying to get there. You're not letting because you don't want to answer these questions because I'm leading you. It's leading questions.
See, this is the part.
I don't want to argue. I don't want to.
This is what you're saying. You just said it. You're trying to lead
you to my point. To my point.
So you came with while I was talking, you already had prepared statements.
Absolutely, because I didn't agree with you.
You weren't listening.
No.
I wasn't taking pieces of what I was saying, and now you're trying to prove your point with bits and pieces. So if you brother, I said use the whole statement, brother.
No.
Don't sit back and take bits and pieces while you're selective hearing what I was saying.
You're absolutely right. I'm just saying to you, I came up here for this topic because I agree, and I said it in the beginning. If you didn't listen, I was raised by Christians. I have an issue with Christians that think they better than humans. And then if you break down the stats in these predominantly Christian countries that you were praising, one of them which you were praising because America is low on emotional. You said America is low on. Did you not say America is like number 20 or low on the emotional intelligence chart? Did you not say that?
That's just facts, brother. That has nothing to do with Christianity. That's just facts.
Brother, listen. I'm saying what you're saying, and I'm saying to you, if you're gonna highlight that about America, I'm gonna highlight femicide about Colombia, and I'm gonna say that is predominantly.
If you go, okay, you can talk about. Let's talk about domestic violence, like you were saying.
Country.
I can go back to the States and talk about mass
but that's
shootings,
a predominantly Christian country that's killing women.
In other
that's
countries.
A predominantly
Or then we go to the Middle East and we can talk about mass
that is
violence,
killing women,
like in the United States.
That is a predominantly Christian country that is killing
no place
women.
is perfect. Already stated, no place is perfect. No group of people is perfect. I made that statement in my
I
dialogue.
understand that, but that is a predominantly Christian country that's killing women. So my point is,
And they aren't in the United States. They aren't
my
in the United
point.
States.
My point
I
is,
just did a video on a dude that just went and killed his wife and then killed his girlfriend. And the exact same thing actually happened in Texas to my best friend 10 years ago. My point is, you can't sit back and say, well,
I
I'm
can.
going to grab
You
this
didn't let me
harsh
finish,
topic
brother.
about a country and say this is what's actually taking
No,
place.
brother, I'm giving you.
all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, no matter where you live.
Brother, I'm asking you. You know what you could do? We could go behind off stage, and you could tell me where you got your stats from, and I will give you my stats, and I will give you the articles, the recent article. Listen, let me finish.
Your stats could be 100%
no, but you're not.
correct.
Listen,
I'm not
open-minded. A Christian, another Christian that's not open-minded.
I'm open-minded when
Another
I just say I
Christian that's
don't
not
deny what
open-minded.
you're
This is
saying.
what I'm talking
My
about.
point is that you, first of all, you decided on your own to take a section and selections of what I stated while you were not hearing the full
because that's what resonated to me.
Hearing.
I was here before you. That's what resonated.
Secondly, we all can admit, no matter what country you go to, there is no perfect country. There is no place in the world that you can go to that's Shangri-La, that's Treasure Island. There is no perfect place.
So what was your point?
I was making a statement in regards to, let's make sure that we realize that most of the Christian experience does not happen in the United States. There is nothing wrong with having somebody on the panel that can give a global perspective, because probably up until now, maybe very few people knew that you knew anything globally, even though I don't know you. You just made the statement of I've traveled. Had you made that statement in this group prior to me coming on board? No. So most people didn't even know that about you. But you were trying to prove a point. Hey, I've done this.
How do you know they didn't know that about me?
Brother, there are so many things that are bad about Colombia in South America. You are absolutely correct.
I get it. Listen,
there are wonderful things. There are bad things.
Listen.
I'll repeat. There is no perfect world. I just came on the panel to say to Jen and to the rest of the panel, this is what my statement was. I'll say it for a third time.
Please.
Just make sure that we don't forget that the Christian experience, whether it be Catholic or Protestant, is a global experience. That's all my point was. And I still hold true to that point. You, brother, decided to select and nitpick. I didn't nitpick anything. And then you decided to say, well, I traveled to, brother, hats off to you. But at the end of the day, can we stick? That's what my point is. Can we stick to the topic at hand?
But you cut me
trying to
off.
compare two countries.
Because
if I came in the panel, not talk about Christianity, and I just start talking about mass shootings in the United States, #1 country, y'all be like, wait a minute, Andre, that has nothing to do with the topic.
Listen.
That would be me attacking America in regards to, or if I sat back and said, well, America trying to build walls to keep people out. Over 1.5 million Americans live in Mexico right now.
You don't want to be challenged.
But
you don't want to be challenged.
My point is,
why don't you want to be challenged?
Like I always say, we need to stick to the topics.
Why don't you want to be challenged? Why don't you want to be challenged?
Why don't you want to stick to the topic?
I did.
That's the question.
I did,
the topic was about Christianity.
Brother,
the topic that I brought was,
you waited.
The topic that I brought to the table was actually, brother,
you know,
the bicker back and forth. I already told you 3 times what my point is. So anything that you say after this is moot.
Okay, perfect. Let me finish my mute point.
Because I already told you what my point is. Brothers and sisters, let's just look at it from a global perspective as well.
Good.
That's all my point was.
Listen,
you come with all this.
No. Listen,
hear me out. You're trying too hard.
Listen.
Just let him make his point, bro. Please, just
I
let him
love
make his
that,
point.
Christian. You should love me back. Listen, let's scaffold this, Christian.
Jen, I apologize. I didn't come with your panel.
You should apologize because you came in rhetoric.
You see what I'm saying? Look, what's with all the aggression, brother?
Yes.
One second.
You didn't let me finish.
What's with all the aggression?
You didn't let me finish.
You don't even know me. I don't know you.
I don't know you.
One second. There's somebody
I don't know you.
writing with my name, and it's not me.
I don't know you.
It's out of control.
I don't know you.
Calm down, brother.
Listen, brother, take your time.
Let's
work it out. Let's have a conversation.
Wait, this is funny. Commercial break.
Let's have a conversation.
I have somebody in the comments pretending to be me. Isn't that
Wow,
silly?
that's crazy.
Look what everybody says. Everybody's saying to you, it's saying, let King finish his point.
This is the point. This is my
No,
point.
you're not letting me finish.
I don't look. See, unlike you, I don't need confirmation.
I'm asking, can you let me finish my point
to make a statement directly to you?
I just want
you need the audience, so you ran
into my
into.
point, please.
Let me interject because I'm on the outside looking in. It's real simple for me. It's real simple. Just and then you guys can continue, but I want Sly to speak unless the ladies have something to say. It's simple. We're talking about Christianity in the United States of America. Respectfully, Love, you came in and said, hey, but all over the world, Christianity is much, and I'm paraphrasing, is much better.
No, I understand.
Right? I'm paraphrasing.
I didn't say it was better.
Columbia.
I didn't say that. I did not make
Just
that
let her
statement.
finish, please. Love,
You know,
love. Let her
I didn't
finish.
make that statement.
Like I said, I'm not going verbatim. Just hear me out. I'm not going verbatim.
Or paraphrase.
The impression was that you're saying, hey, Christianity is basically jacked, but if you go all over the world, you know, I mean, it's wonderful here, it's wonderful there. I've seen this. No one's getting 9% divorce over there. Colombia over there. I'm just saying their interpretation. That's it.
That interpretation is incorrect. Right, Jen, I apologize. This is your forum.
No, it's not.
I stated, Jen, for the fourth time, and I came on the panel just to say, let's make sure we look at Christianity from the global perspective. Then you guys clarified and corrected me and said, Andre, and you said this earlier, Jen, Andre, we're basically talking about it from our experience as Americans. And I respect that and I understand that. But at the end of the day, I never stated, and there is no such thing as a perfect form of Christianity in any part of the world. There is no Shangri-La that exists. We're all full of sin.
Gotcha. So you're basically saying just look at it globally, but then some people were saying don't move the goalposts. We're in the United States, so let's keep it here. And then you went off about Colombia being this fantasy, beautiful place.
I didn't say that.
The women and the children and the grandparents.
I didn't say that.
What have you?
You asked me what makes it different, and I just said in other parts of the world, and I just so happen to use where I am right now as an example. I could have been in Thailand, and I just said if you notice anything I said the family, not the countries. I said other countries still value the family unit in the church.
What does that mean?
And remember, I use us as an example that mainly in many churches now, the males are not present as much as it was in the past when we all were growing up in the States. That's just statistics. I'm not saying anything that's false or attacking my home country. And I'm not saying that Colombia or South America or Thailand or the Philippines or Dominican Republic or any other country is a perfection, because there is no perfect
No one said
country.
that though.
Okay, so I think.
Can I finish my point? I was just challenging. I was just challenging the fact that he's going off of anecdotal. That's his experience. And I said, as another worldly man, I wasn't trying to show off. People know I travel. You might not know it, but now you know. Thank you for acknowledging it. But as another worldly traveler, that's not my experience. And I gave a term of femicide to prove why that is not my experience in the country that you live in. Brother, please. In the country that you live in. That's what I'm saying. You saying it's a global perspective of Christianity needs to be acknowledged. But not every global perspective of Christianity is a monolith, because mine has been different. That's all I was trying to get to. But you thought I was trying to attack you. When I first came into that, I said, thank you, brother, for coming in. Let's have a high level conversation. And then you thought I was attacking you and your stance on Christianity. I said, that's what makes you a pillar in your community. That's what I said to you. I didn't want to fight with you. I got issues with everybody else, not with you. You came was trying to say something that was trying to put Christianity in a good light. But here's another thing. With a country that's predominantly Christian, they have the highest rate of femicide. That's a point. That's just my experience. Not saying you're wrong. We both could be right. You can have a low divorce rate, but you can also have a high rate of femicide. We both can be right. You see what happens when you keep quiet and you listen? We both win. We both win. But you didn't do that. And it's not my ego. I don't have an ego. I went to Colombia and I went to Colombia. So please don't ever get it twisted with my hood slanger or my demeanor.
Because you
No,
had
let me
one.
see. There you go. There you
or
go. There you
a
go.
few
I didn't finish.
You're
There you
absolutely
go.
correct, because you're not going to attack me
I'm
and
not. I
say
can't attack you. I don't know you.
you absolutely. I said
Can
that to you
I ask a
earlier.
question? Like
I
you're,
went
you're
to
so
Colombia and I
sensitive. It's
went
not
to
personal.
Colombia. We're different.
But
Understand that. Listen,
brother,
we're
hear me
different.
out. Just because you choose any country, you could choose Italy, Spain. You could choose every country has a flaw. That's what my point is. You chose to choose a flaw in a country. I could have been in Mexico. You could have talked about borders.
And I would have put up a stat for
I could have
Mexico.
been in Peru. You could have talked
And I
about
would
where
have
they have the most.
and I would have been
people
and I would have said I went
That's
there
my
too.
point is, you are absolute. I said this several times. You are correct, brother. You don't have to make a point. You're correct, because there is no perfect place. There is no.
The point.
I said this several times.
The point. No, you proved my point, brother. You proved my point.
You know what? You're right. I'm wrong.
You proved my point.
Right.
You know my point. You know my point is. You proved my point. When having dialogue with Christian men, particularly Black Christian men, it's hurtful to me. It really hurts me that I came in here to have a dialogue because I wanted to learn. And I wanted to learn from you because you showed me the way you treated my sister, Jen. You said no matter what she said, I still had an open mind to go and subscribe to her page. I didn't have a closed mind. You exhibit a closed mind when you didn't let me
Can
finish.
everybody acknowledge this comment so I can get rid of this troll? This person who's impersonating me. I love crossing is a cockroach there. I said it. We acknowledge. Can you get back to your eggnog now? They're trying to pretend that they're me. Can you get back to your eggnog now? Because these people really need attention.
That's a fact.
Can you get back to the eggnog now? It is Christmas. I'd be damned if I'm trolling somebody I don't like on a Christmas.
Right.
On me.
And we gonna hold Jen down no matter what anyway.
One thing that I can say, this is my final statement. I would like to say thank you for the dialogue back and forth, because I'm always on learner mode. You brought in a term that I didn't know. So now I am the type of person to go back and research. I'm not one of those people that sit back and be like, oh, he don't know it. No, if I know a person knows what they're talking about and I don't know it, now I have something that I learned. And so I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not one of those guys that.
No, but
I don't take stuff. I like a kind of point discussion.
No, but I wanted to have this conversation with you because you said with my sister that you had an open mind, and my whole time since I met Jen is to make sure that people don't take that particular clip and form a hypothesis about her. And you took it upon yourself to have an open mind. So I don't have conversations with Christians. I have conversations with open-minded Christians who still won't waver from their principles. But what you showed me is that you wasn't trying to hear me out. And maybe because, like you said, I don't know if you ever saw me before. You probably don't know me. You probably don't know my page. Maybe you had something to say, okay, maybe he's coming to attack me. I wasn't. I was going to let you know my experience in that country as a person at that time that was a Christian wasn't good. And as a Black Christian, and I use the term as a Black Christian man, you get treated differently too.
I can say this. Everyone in every country will have different experiences. Like I said, I've been to several countries and every experience was different. Some people had some great things to say about some countries I went to. Others had horrible things. I'm a glass half full type of person. So I always try to find the positive things, because no matter where we go in the world, as you well know, as a traveler, we always can find something that's bad about it. But in regards to just to lay the foundation between you and I and other people know, especially the chat group, just because you hear two Black men having a dialogue doesn't mean that we're angry with each other, that we hate each other. We may disagree, but at the end of the day, as I just mentioned, the brother just taught me something in a term that I didn't even know. So now I have something that I can go research about this particular country and say, okay, I know some good things and I know some problematic things, and now I learned something new that's problematic. So I'm always on learner mode. I'm never one of those guys that. What value did I bring? The value that I brought.
Everyone was respectful and they let you talk, and you were very disrespectful. You cut him off. You kept interrupting. He did not attack you. He did not disrespect you. He was just trying to rebuttal your talking point. And you interrupted him literally the whole time.
And you literally just asked me a question and didn't let me answer it. You literally just did that. You asked a question.
Bro, you can't ask for respect that you didn't give. You King didn't interrupt you the entire time. The entire time. And with all due respect, Love Crossing, with all due respect, you can't ask for respect that you didn't give. And that's why I don't do that, right? I don't say, hey guys, don't talk about my wife and kids, because I do the same thing to other people. What you were saying is, she just did that to you, but King let you speak the entire time, didn't interrupt once.
I raised my hand and asked you, can I ask you a question? That's what I did. I said, can I ask you a question?
Exactly. But you didn't want to come here and have a cordial conversation. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Actually, we did. It may not be. This is the part. It may not be.
Love, hold on a minute. I'd like to add, I don't want to drag this out. I know Sly did mention something about moving the goalpost. So I'd like Sly to address what he said in the chat. Maybe if you'd like to respond to him.
Oh, no problem.
Oh, hey everybody. Jen, this is all your fault. King was going. I saw King. I saw it in your eyes. You was just waiting in the tree line to snipe him. So I'm with you. No diss to brother Love, but you sound like the passport bros that I go at it with incessantly over the last 3 years. When we had these conversations about Christianity, we don't need to differentiate if we're having a talking global or American. That kind of shit kind of mean like, like obviously we're talking about the American Christian experience. And then you went on bragging about the Colombian women, and I'm just like, that has nothing to do with the conversation. Sir, you said, you said some of the most beautiful women in the world.
And running with it.
Sir, you said some of the most beautiful women in the world reside in the country that you live in. Has something to do with
I said with
the American Christian
example
experience.
of mothers being with their grandma.
Okay, that's fine. That's neither here nor there. We are pretty much old enough to see to have watched Christianity be politicized, incentivized, become backed by money. This is why you see a lot of black men leaving the church, because, like you said, family has been not preached upon or not put on the pedestal where it should be. And you see the indoctrination, things of that nature. You saw it with the civil rights movement. It's been weaponized against its own people. And the people have been so indoctrinated by it over the last 50, 60 years. You have the separation between the old Christians, new Christians coming in, not so much. They're like kind of iffy, like, oh, what should I do? What should I do? And they just, those of us in the middle that have seen the, I guess, the downside to it. And for the most part, I guess this is my personal opinion, but Christians are some of the most religiously indignant people. You cannot have a legit conversation with Christians about their religion, unlike a Jew, unlike a Muslim, and it not get personal. For whatever reason, mainly black Christians are the most staunch defenders of it. And honestly, conversations like this are needed, but at the end of the day, there will be no resolution. There will be no compromise. There will be no meeting of the minds, because they're going to plant their flag and say, I'm going to die on this hill, and there's nothing you can say to me to change me or even get me to think outside of that box per se. But this is a conversation sorely needed, but we don't need the country comparisons. We all know this is a black American experience that we're having a conversation about. Now mute up.
And I agree with that, and I acknowledged that earlier when Jen brought forth that, when she said that after I spoke, and she said, well, Andre is basically the U.S. that we're talking about. And so that's basically when I acknowledged that. And then she asked me a question about, Andre, why do you think is different? And that's when I started talking about the family dynamic. And I only use one country as an example. I could have used any country as an example of the family dynamic in regards to how it's impacted us at home. The lack thereof in our churches has impacted us back home. That's the only reason. Like I said, I'm one of those people that I listen very well. And so I make the mistake of expecting others to listen well and not selective hear me, because I try my best not to selective hear others. I even try to take notes. That's why you keep seeing me look around, because I'm looking for a pen, because I like to take notes to not make statements that a person didn't make. But at the end of the day, I'm more or less like this. This brother King taught me something that I did not know. I'm going to say that for the third time. And of anything, of the conversation that he and I had, I appreciate the fact that I have a man that was able to teach me something. Secondly, just like you said, brother, Christians, the worst Christians there are the closed-minded ones. Some of the greatest conversations that helped my Christian strength were the ones I had with my Jewish brothers, my Nation of Islam brothers, my Sunni Muslim brothers, my 5% brothers. They were the ones that taught me about and asked me questions that I went back to research to strengthen my Christian beliefs. So I'm never want to be one of those narrow-minded Christians that you can't tell me anything and I know everything. Like I said, tonight I got a chance to learn something that I didn't even know that I could research tonight. So I'm excited about that.
Okay. There was a good question because we have to go on over to King's page, but there was a question that Shannon asked that I thought was interesting. For you, love. He said, if you believe there is no perfect place, then why downplay the U.S. version of Christianity and upplay the international version of Christianity?
Wow, that's a good question.
That is a good question. It really wasn't the downplay, it was more of the exposure. Now, how we take things at times may seem or come across as where they're putting me down. Actually, I'm just giving statistical exposure. Remember the first thing I said was statistically 80% of all pastors in the world lives in the United States. If you looked at it, that's a stat. Most on every other corner you can find a church somewhere in the States. But statistically, by populations, 80% of those that claim to be Protestant or Catholic live outside of the United States. So and that's why I start off with most of the Christian experience is not based off of the prosperity preachers we see on TV, the scandals that we hear with different pastors and their wives and things like that. That's not the global norm. But then Jen corrected me and said, Ray, hold up. We're talking about the US. And I was like, you know what? Okay. And then Jen asked me, she said, well, what do you equate what cause it to be different? And I said, the family unit is not, like the one brother said, is not praised like it should be in the churches back home like it once was. The family was a big thing in the church prior to, whatever age, the 70s, the 80s, 90s, whatever it may be. But now it doesn't seem like it's praised as much as it should be. But I do notice in other locations that whether they're in church or they're not in church, in other locations, the family dynamic is a strong force that still tries to keep the unity together because they don't have the economic blessings that we may have. So all they have is each other. And that's what I'm noticing in a lot of countries. They don't have our economics, but they just stick it out.
Okay, thank you, love. We have maybe around, shut up, Shannon. We have about 10 minutes left because this is a great segue. King is going to discuss on his page what we all together think that is a hypocritical Christian, being Black. I'm sure you guys are familiar with him. But I think he's a perfect case study for this topic. So this is a great segue. So before we head on over to Kings, I'd like to go around the room for the last words. Love, you don't have to go last. Go along with it, respectfully. But so I want to give the ladies the chance to speak, and then the gentlemen, and then we can head on over to Kings because it's a great conversation and we have to keep it going. It's important we have these conversations unscathed. No one got made and we learn something new. So let's end this one. We continue it on King, listening, Nikki Red, ladies.
This was a good topic. It went a little bit all over the place, but that's a good thing. When we have conversations, if they stay stagnant, they're not good. As Christians, I just see that we need to do a little bit better of walking in love and stop being so darn judgmental and being people with the verses, but actually teach them some of if they're willing to teach. You can't just be preaching to people and they didn't. That's unsolicited advice. Like I had the privilege of working with this construction company, and I was talking to one of the new guys, and he said, I don't know how we got on the topic about God, but we start talking about it. And he said, you're a Christian? I said, yes. He said, I never would have knew it. And I said, why you say that? And he said, because you're not Bible thumping and beating me with verses. I always knew you were nice and you always smiled and you were kind, but now it makes sense for me. And that's, we need to walk in love. And you know, this Christian thing that we profess that we love, you know, you have to forgive us sometimes because it does become a little personal to us. If you're a Christian and you claim it, it's supposed to be personal. We're gonna mess up, we're not gonna do right, because when you go down in that water and you come back up, you still that same person, but it's just like a bad habit. I said I'm gonna chill out from drinking and smoking this year coming up. It takes 90 days to break that bad habit, but just because I'm a Christian and I went down in that water doesn't mean that all my bad habits went away. I have to work at it every day. And a lot of Christians think because I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't hurt people, I'm doing good. But sometimes they have some of the most nastiest attitudes and they murder people's feelings. And so we just got to do better in walking in love and just being consistent and just walking this Christian life out so that someone can say, hey, you know, what you got going on? What makes you, you know, have hope? What makes you happy? Why are you such a joyful person? And I can tell you about this God I believe in and the reasons why I believe in him. And if I don't know something, to be honest and say, hey, I don't know the answer to that, but let me go check with my pastor or, you know, my deacon and find that answer out for you. Instead of being all, my pastor says Christians be acting spooky, you know, and we need to not act spooky. And so that's what I'm working on, not acting spooky.
Thank you, Mickey. Those were great points. I totally agree. I'm like, Christians need to give a little grace so they can get a little grace, right? So I agree with you totally. Stop acting spooky. Listen.
Okay, first, Jen, I want to say I really, really hope you do a part two because I think this was potential to be a really great conversation. As you can see, a lot of us have a lot of opinions and feelings about it, so I hope that you do another segment. But I just wanted to leave the Christians who are listening with this point. I'm not here to tell anyone what to do or what not to believe in, but I think one of the things you all can do collectively is get on one accord. Because if you all got on one accord, I think the non-believers might take you a little more serious and respect what you have to say more. But when there's some of you who are like Bible thumpers, some of you are twerking, some of you are just kind of in the middle. It's like the outside world doesn't have any real idea of like what a Christian should look like because collectively it's kind of all over the place. So I would just suggest that maybe Christians should do a better job of just getting on the same accord. And that was pretty much it.
Thank you. I agree with that too. Hence my thumbnail. If you guys saw my thumbnail, I was being funny, but that's basically the idea I have of Christianity, unfortunately. OG Patrice.
Yeah,
Patrice.
thank you, Jen. For me, again, it's the hypocrisy because I can respect the fact that we can learn from other countries and other cultures, but I want accountability, right? Like I would love to hear someone get up here and just really be real and raw and say Christianity has messed it up for the Black community in a lot of ways. And here are some of those ways, A, B, C, D, and what can we do to get to the solutions? Because I don't have to be a Christian to walk in love. I do that every day of my life. I try to practice that. I don't have to be a Christian to treat people right. That's just a basic way of nature if you were raised right and wrong. So I'm tired of the song and dance, the mumbo jumbo, the charismatic words. I just really need someone to get up here and be accountable for the hypocrisy for me. That is my thing because listen, we all know that we are flawed and we make mistakes and things like that. But when you have uh mass that mass detriment to the Black community that has caused the Black man to walk away from the church, to cause the Black family unit to be broken down, this destruction, the poverty pimp preachers. Like, let's really get to the root of the matter and get to the solutions. And I need the Black Christianity church to be accountable for those things and to talk about those atrocities and to say, yes, we let Black men and women and families down, and this is how, because we bought into the very hypocrisy. We bought into the politicalism, we bought into the commercialism of Christianity, and we have done that. And I have yet to hear that. We argue, make argument points back and forth, and this panel actually hasn't gotten anywhere. So I want the accountability of someone from the Black Christian community to come up here and say, yeah, for the last 20, 30 years, we screwed it up. And this is where we need to get to for solutions. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you, OG. So that sounds like part 2. That sounds like part 2. I rushed this one a little bit because I want to head on over the Kings, but we have Shannon back. Shannon, what you got to say? We can't hear you, sir.
Boom. Now you should be able to hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Daryl, where you at? I want to holler at my boy Daryl.
I'm here, bro. I just turned off my camera and all that stuff, man, because, you know, no disrespect to Love. He was being long-winded, but I'm here. I'm right here.
So what's up? What's the problem? You don't want me to read the Monahan report?
No. That was a joke. But the reason why, like, I had a problem with you is because I thought that you was solid. I'm like, damn, he's still fucking with people who say that, like, it's cool to kick women in the chest. He's still cool, like, with people who do, you know, all kind of different goofy shit to people on their own camp. So, like, I just pretty much say, well, if he gonna sit with these people, he must agree with their ways. He must also believe that, you know, it's okay to come online and tell your co-host that you're a kicker in the titties. He also believes it's okay to keep receipts on your co-host who help you build your platform. He got to. Do you?
Yeah. No, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
If that's what they said, I don't agree with that. Here's the reality. I fuck with Anton. I fuck with JR. I fuck with the Lapeef Network. I fuck with Conversations with King. I fuck with King, Yo to the Noops. I fuck with Jen. I fuck with Chef. I fuck with E Black. And I fuck with Daryl Long. Period. Here's another thing.
Yeah, so it was a misunderstanding. My bad.
I fuck with Rolling 60s Crips. A lot of my homies is murderers, but I still fuck with them. I don't agree with what they did. I don't agree with some of the shit that I did when I was younger. I fuck with the United States government. I fuck with the LAPD. I don't agree with everything they do. I don't. But I'm a soldier myself. I don't even fuck with some of the shit that I did when I was overseas. When I think back of what I've done. But don't just be, I get you got an issue with Anton, man, and you got a real problem with it over there. And apparently he said something. I haven't watched the video. Because everybody tell me I got to go watch these videos. Every time I go back, I got to scroll. I don't have a lot of time because I still got to run I don't have the time that I wish I had, right? And I've only been here as long as King has really been here. Like me and King we're in the alpha class and shit, right? So we're new here. So I get that you hate that. He said he kicked women in the titties. No, I'm not kicking no. We don't put hands on women, period. I just don't. We don't. Right, but I still fuck with Anton. That's my guy. The reality is, I fuck with Daryl. That's my guy. That, you know, people. Oh, but Daryl be talking about E Black's wife. Well, should he do that? Nah. Well, I don't talk about people's wives. You won't see that on my channel. But do you see the other shit that Daryl do? Do you see the other shit that Daryl be talking about? I fuck with that. I'm not going to erase somebody completely because of one thing that they said. If it gets to the point where it's violent or it's pedophilic or it's murderous or some shit like that, then it's a different conversation. But this is YouTube. You know, a lot of people say stuff for shock value. A lot of people say shit so they can get clicks and they can get followers and all of that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that was said before with kicking people in the titties for shock value or to try to get a point across. You know, a lot of people exaggerate to get their point across, especially when they're in an argument. Was he in an argument? I don't know. But I'm rocking with all of y'all. That's what I tell people that, because you know, all that. Like today, I was at E Black's channel. I'm thinking he's talking about Abba and Preach. He's over there talking about King. I'm like, why are you? I'm thinking myself, why are you? I thought you said on a video before that you was never gonna bring this up.
Wait, hold on. You mean the person that I helped get 300 subscribers?
I don't know.
No, hold on. I just want to make sure we talking about
E Black TV.
You mean the person that when he got kicked off the Peace Show, I let him come to my show so he could build his brand up, and they respected him because they thought he was a drunk. I just want to make sure we talking about the same E Black. Are you referring to E Black who he told me to stand up to Daryl because Daryl was talking about his wife and his children, so he wanted me to protect him? Are we talking about a man that wants me to? Are you talking about a man that wants me to do Whitney Houston, Kevin Costner? Let me know. The bodyguard? You talking about the bodyguard, E Black? I just want to make sure because I'm going to talk about that.
I guess so.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, I guess so. And the reality is, I fuck with E Black. Shannon fucks with E Black. I bet King don't, but here's the reality. I fuck with King.
Well, hold on. One more thing. Shannon, are you talking about the E Black that just said, he said he slept with a girl on his show, and he said, I slept with a girl on the show, and I called up the show and told him, I never talked about your mother or your children. Why are you talking about my sexual partners? That's not gentlemanlike. What happens if you say her name, you might be bringing legal issues. I just want to know. I just want to know what's going on because
it's the same E Black that posted the video of my shit. Try to take it out of context, but it's all good. It's all fair.
It's a very litigious word out here. I just want to make sure we talking about the same E Black that is a very litigious word.
I guess so.
Okay.
I guess that E Black TV.
Okay.
The one I was just at. Yeah. So why am I acting like weird? Yeah, that E Black.
Okay.
Look. Let me say this to Shannon. Shannon, what I said to you, this is how I operate.
Because you said I was a dick sucker. You said all these dick suckers coming over here from. I'm like, oh, my nigga just said that. What the fuck? Like,
this is why I feel that way. This is why I feel that way.
Shan. Go ahead.
Yeah, Shan, this is why I feel that way. You see, I haven't apologized. It's all good, right? You showed me love. I feel that way. We both being respectful and honest. So I still feel that way. And the reason why is like, I choose sides. Once somebody experienced loyal to me, like, you know what I'm saying, what happened recently, where I'm not gonna say her name, but like Sage burning people, you know what I'm saying? They was mad at me for certain different things I did. I chose a side. And I do that. You know what I'm saying? If I see, I don't think, if Petty Inquisitor saw that I went live yesterday or tomorrow and I say, hey guys, I love kicking women in the chest for shock value, I don't think they're gonna fuck with me because I feel like they solid dudes.
That's a good point.
I'm not saying that you are solid like that. You're not solid for that, but where I come from, like that's not a solid thing to be like, oh yeah, I fuck with everybody, including my friends who, say it's okay to hit women in the chest for shock value on the internet. To me, kind of like what Love Crossings was saying, we should be able to build our platforms without that kind of shit, without that kind of rhetoric. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's something that you already understand. And because you already understand it and choose to still support it, it led me to believe that you support it.
Wait. Support it or support you? Because you're saying basically it is them. If they say something, like if somebody says something wrong, so if
you start making songs with R. Kelly, you can't say, well, I fuck with R. Kelly and I fuck with black women, black. No, you don't.
Got it. Because if somebody was to disrespect an innocent person like a woman and kick her in the chest and all that kind of stuff, you shouldn't fuck with that. Or if somebody was to diss somebody's wife who never said something wrong, I shouldn't fuck with them either. Right?
Yes, I agree. That's your choice.
And I know I get you. Here's the thing. That's not how I roll. You know who I support? Because I get you say I take sides. Shannon is on Shannon's side. That's the only side I
respect that.
And so when
Shannon, I understand that. That's where I was misunderstood, and I apologize.
I look at YouTube kind of like a buffet. It's like everybody here says some fucked up shit. Everybody does, including me. Right? We all do. But I'm not gonna judge your characters on the screen that I have right here. I've never shooken hands with anybody. We haven't hung out. We know this is all electronic. This is YouTube. You feel me? And so with YouTube, some people say certain things. I know people are scanning. I hit the refresh button all fucking day looking to see who's live. It's kind of YouTube. So I kind of take it tongue in cheek a lot of times when people say certain things. So when you come at somebody's wife, right? Like E-Blacks, I'm like, oh, okay, he's jabbing because this is all YouTube. This is YouTube shit.
Man, y'all gotta get over that. A person can say somebody's unattractive.
Hear me out. I know
you
want
just like I can get online and say Jen is beautiful. I can get online and say a woman is not beautiful. That's not a jab. Like y'all taking that like I said I was gonna kill her or something. Like y'all ridiculous. It's not. Yeah, it's not the same to say a woman.
Darrell, I ain't going front though. It was mad hilarious. You did say his wife looked like LeBron James. That was funny.
All right, yeah, I said she looked like LeBron James.
That was foul. That was foul, but that was funny. That was hella funny.
You know what? I will apologize for saying his wife looked like LeBron
James.
No,
don't apologize.
That was funny.
But, you know what I'm saying? Don't apologize for that because that was just one thing. But then you think I'm gonna erase all the good shit that you do because of that one? No, I'm not doing that. That's just me. That. That's how you boy Shannon do.
Okay, so let me say this so we could close. I do get what Shannon is saying. And he did say as long as you don't hurt a woman or pedophilia and stuff like that. So there is a limit. There's a line for him.
Better be.
It should stop there. So I think that's good. So I agree with Shannon. I'm sure if he heard someone actually kick somebody in the titties, you're not gonna mess with him, right, Shannon? Is that safe to say?
Wait, say it again.
If somebody actually kicks somebody in the titties.
Yeah. Anybody that's violent, anybody that's because motherfuckers be saying these Twitter fingers, they be typing because before we got YouTube, it was all about Twitter and Facebook and the shit that we would say in the comments. And I'll be like, y'all motherfucker, I know you in real life. Why are you even writing like that? So now you got YouTube. So people be saying stuff. It's like, bro, you ain't really, you just, what are you saying that for? And so a lot of times I hear what people say and I just be like, okay, you just saying that. What else are you doing? And if the by and large, like King, like Jen, like Shan, like Chef, like Anton, like the Lapeef Network, if by and large you guys are bringing value and doing something that's good, then I'm in the comments and I'm supporting y'all. I'm saying, yo, follow this channel. I don't say follow this channel on some. There's other channels up here that I can't believe YouTube even allows to be up, and I stay the fuck away from those because then I'll get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? And the next thing you know, I'll be wanting to drive up on somebody, and I don't want to do all of that. So, but over here, it's all fun. This is fun stuff. Remember how King used to say, "Oh man, this is all just internet." That's how I really feel. It's like, come on, this is YouTube. But I thought Daryl didn't want me to read the Moynihan report. I'm thinking like, I got a book club. I thought, so I thought because he was saying something about what am I doing in my community, and so I thought he said it was a joke. So I get it now.
All right, I need some likes. I see 72 people watching, and I got 43 likes. So let me get some likes so we could close out with Sly and then Love.
Yeah, I just don't understand why Shannon didn't super chat you. I'm confused. Thank you.
Because he acts like
don't be conditional. Don't be conditional. I ain't nobody super chat me. You ain't super chat me, King. I super chatted you.
I saved it for Jen.
What?
I saved it for Jen.
Can we go to Sly? Because we got to take this over to Kings. Sly, what say you, sir, after this very colorful Christian making Christians look bad conversation?
Well, you know what? Christians make themselves look bad. They've become a running joke. From Monday to Saturday, you can rape, murder, pillage, rob. But as long as you have your ass in church on Sunday, everything's all well and good. And then plus, Christianity really only benefits those that profiteer off of it. You can be a believer all day long. If you feel that fills your spirit, that's cool. But the ones that's making the money off of it, because once you find out your pastor has a 501c3, then it's like, okay, why are you really doing this? But it's the lack of accountability, like OG Patrice said, and they do it to themselves. Like, you don't have to really do anything to a Christian. They do it to themselves. They're probably one of the biggest walking contradictions religiously, but that's my personal opinion. But if you deal with enough of them, you kind of form your own conclusions, and they don't do themselves any justice in their behaviors and how they justify their behaviors. Because the dumbest thing I've ever heard is only God can judge me. I judge everybody. What the fuck you mean? Like, you're a crackhead, I'm not gonna hang out with you. You may have some jewels and gems, but I'm not buying you a beer. So those are my points. Thank you for having me, Jen.
Bye. Thank you so much. You're always a joy on the panel. I think if you go to King's page after this, Jabari is going to have some words for you because he's a devout Christian and he was going off in the chat.
I'll be over there.
I love crossing borders. Would you like to end the panel? Oh, no, wait, because Darrell has to go after you. So you could keep it short, love.
Okay, I was just trying to send you a super chat, but that gives me a chance. Just want to say I'm going to be subscribing to all you guys' channel. That's what I was just doing. Write down everybody's name so I can subscribe and make sure that the one thing that you guys want to make sure we continue to do, and those in the panel, a lot of people may have their thousands or 2,000 subscribers, but you may not have your 4,000 watch hours. So I'm going to make sure that I watch you guys' channels, especially your live streams, because you'll get your 4,000 like that overnight. And so I'm going to make sure that I support that. So guys, when you just in the audience, make sure you subscribe to everybody, and not just subscribe, make sure you watch so everybody can make sure they get those 4,000 watch hours in so they can actually become monetized, because at the end of the day, this is a platform, but I promise you this, it is a business. It is a very, very lucrative business, and it's not just Kevin Samuels and others that are making the money. I'm living proof that you can too be a six-figure person in this if we all support each other by watching each other's contents, not just the subscriber count.
Yeah. So also, thank you so much. With that being said, tomorrow on Harris Family Vlog, who is a devout Christian and also a marriage relationship counselor, me and Jen, as well as Nikki, who is the Glow Code, will be on there at 7 p.m. tomorrow. And it is called How Faith is Perceived. You have two people we have one atheist and one person who's spiritual but doesn't have a religion, which is me, going against Nikki, who is a faith walker, as well as Harrison Vlog, who is a teacher. He's a faith walker. So it's two versus two. We want everybody, particularly Love Crossing Borders and Jabari, to show up tomorrow, December 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's called How Faith is Perceived, an honest discussion. So you could jump in, and we're gonna have the same conversation that Jen is doing, because Jen was doing the precursor appetite, because we're gonna go over there and we're gonna show people how we perceive faith, not what it is, how we perceive it from a historical.
Are you gonna?
Yeah.
Are you going to talk about on your show, King?
Who? No, my show is I'm going to dismantle this guy. I don't know.
Oh, okay, because I already got your show already set up on my computer.
No, my show it's going to be educational. But thank you.
Oh, okay.
But tomorrow,
then I'll rewatch this. Okay, cool.
Tomorrow's going to be a conversation like we had, high level conversation about.
I just wanted to make sure that I remembered the channel that you were talking about. But after Jen is done with this live, I'll just rewatch this segment so I make sure I have everything.
Yeah, Harrison Family Vlog.
Harrison Family Vlog.
Harrison Family Thank you, Bliss Me.
We'll be on there tomorrow.
Thank you, Dante.
Thank you so much, Bliss Me. Harrison Family Vlog, and wish me luck, guys, because I'm a non-believer and I feel like I'm walking into church tomorrow.
And I'm a believer, but I just, like I said, the structure of religion, the historical context of Christianity throws me off. That's it. But I'm a believer of God. I don't have a religion. No.
That showed me so much love tonight. Thank you. I really appreciate it, because I didn't even know I had the super chat. Y'all showed up and showed out. So thank you. I really, really appreciate that. Darrell, what you got to say? Last but not least, Darrell. King Darrell, talk to us.
Y'all know that I rock with Jen and King heavy. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as I want to address this on the way out. I'm never gonna turn my back on Jen. I already done my research on everything that she already apologized about. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the way we moving. And I guess I kind of owe Shannon an apology too, for assuming he was like Rilla and just really coming over here to represent what they call the home team. I was wrong about that, you know what I'm saying? But let me say this. If I feel like you align yourself with them, I just go at you. So it is what it is, Shannon. You know what I'm saying? Don't take it to offense. And make sure y'all rock with Jen, man. Jen is very, very, very honest, very supportive of me, very supportive of my new platform as well. I'm almost at 5,000 views in 10 days, so it's going pretty well. And King is also highly supportive. Shout out to Mr. O, Bliss Me, everybody who doing the fucking super chats. Major love to y'all, especially Bliss Me. She always show love, and Tristan. That's all I gotta say. I see y'all on King channel.
Yeah, and you know,
what up,
I'm always gonna never take you off the panel and always support you. Even though you messed up I could have had a lot of money yesterday, but you messed up with the cursing, Darrell. But I'm never gonna choose anybody over you. Once again, Conversation with King is one of the few channels that got people monetized. I only have 1,000 followers, subscribers, but I was able to give a majority of people 100 to 300 subscribers because I'm the only one that tells people to go and follow to the next person page and a call to action. Shonda
Wana
Wada,
is here.
King,
shout out to Wanda.
Wana, you
Wanda.
late. We're on
King.
our way to King's page, so please meet us there. Wanda
Right.
is here. Thank you so much, everybody, for the super chat. So
King, you had a
appreciate
show.
y'all.
You had a show that they wouldn't let you monetize, or they gave it limited.
Yeah, they give me limited.
It's gonna clear in a couple days.
No, I did that. I did the whole thing. Always clears a couple of days.
Oh, okay. Just remember, the cussing is okay as long as you don't do it in the first 5 minutes.
Okay.
The advertisers. So a lot of times when we get limited shows, when they do limited monetizing a particular show, it sometimes clears in a couple days and goes full green. If it's yellow, it's because we did a little bit too much cussing in the first 5 minutes, and the advertisers don't want that opening advertisement too close to cussing. That's all. But you be good.
Yeah. No, but I don't want you saying that. I was trying to trick Daryl so you can stop cursing. Thank you.
All right, guys. So we're
All right.
going to end it with two things. Thank you again immensely for the super chats. Thank you for joining the panel. We definitely have to have a part 2, but I will be on Harrison Family Vlog tomorrow with King and the Glow Code and Harrison. We'll be discussing religion. Wish me luck because I'm a non-believer. Thank you. And I'm gonna leave off on the comment that Sherelle says. She buys crackheads beer, so buy your crackhead a beer. Thank you, Sherelle. All right, guys, let's go to King's page. I'm off of here. Thank you.
Peace.
Good show.
Thank you. All right, guys. Good night. Merry Christmas to those who celebrate. I do not, but I respect you enough to say Merry Christmas to you. All right, guys. Good night. Head on over to Conversation with King.